What is up, guys? You got Not the Worst here, bringing you probably not the best, but hopefully not the worst discussion through this week's Black Desert Online patch notes. I think it's something we could maybe do a weekly discussion with, have people some feedback in the comments here, maybe see how that works out, since those of you that play Black Desert know we typically have some new patch releases each week. So I'm just going to kind of go through the notes of everyone so you can check it out, give you my thoughts on it, and then if you guys have some feedback or whatever, you can leave that in the comments there, and then maybe we'll bring it up next week and kind of go over some discussion. That might be something that works out for a little segment, but let's go ahead and jump into these, see what's going on, and I'll give you my thoughts as we read. I have skimmed through these already, and I was playing a bit earlier this morning, so I did get a little bit of a feel of some of these things. I think a lot of people have some knee-jerk reactions to a lot of the updates, especially some of the class balances that were done, but we'll get into that in a minute, and I'll give my thoughts on it, and then let you know what I've already experienced a bit from there. So first things, they got their greeting. We're not going to spend time on that. Whatever. One of the biggest things, obviously, we've got the release of the new character coming out next week, the Lahn. So that's going to be dropping on the 23rd. This week, they started right off here with Lahn character creation. So you can go ahead and design your Lahn, make her however pretty you're going to want to make her or whatever, and do that thing. I'll definitely be making one myself. I do want to try the class out and see how it is. It looks pretty cool, honestly. A lot of the skills kind of remind me of when I was first looking at the Dark Knight trailer when it first came out, but like closer range, if that makes any sense. Dark Knight's kind of more mid-range sort of thing, so it looks pretty interesting. We'll see if it's any good. The sky jump, if you haven't seen it, looks really cool. It can like run on air or jump on air for a little bit. That looks pretty interesting. But yeah, the animations and stuff actually look great. I'll definitely be making one. I'll be customizing one early because they have I don't care about the competition, but if you do it, you get pre-creation event here. You see you get some rewards for it. Let's go and open up because they're actually pretty good. So this is just if you pre-create your Lahn prior to the release here. So you create your Lahn, click the oh, this is the contest for it. Yeah. I'm not so worried about the contest, but they're doing one of the top 5 winners out of the top 50 downloads or something like that are going to get Orchid Fall Classic set and I guess merch palette for 30 days. This is what I was talking about here, the Lahn pre-creation event. So this I'm pretty interested in since I want to play Lahn anyways. They're just giving you free stuff basically to go ahead and do it. Item collection, increased scroll, those are always super valuable. They're just like, hey, here's 10 mil silver, I guess. So there's some gold bars for that, horse flute, and then gold key. So this is probably going to be 6 sharps, most likely. So yeah, anyways, if you're going to be playing Lahn, definitely recommend go ahead and make it now. Also, I believe they said coming up right next. Okay, so this hasn't started yet. This is going to start tomorrow. It looks like the 17th. So this is the Call of Moonlight Shard, and this event, basically what it does is you're taking a memory fragment. You're going to get 2 Moonlight Shards throughout the day by completing challenges, although it doesn't specify what. Per 1 hour of playtime, you get a maximum of 2, and then you're going to use alchemy to combine the memory frag with the Moonlight Shard, and then you pretty much get, it looks like a roll. So you're going to get memory fragments times 1 to 3. So you might just get your memory fragment back, you might double it, you might triple it, and then you also have a chance to get this is guaranteed 1 to 3, so you're getting your shard back no matter what, and then you have a chance to get an event Moonlight Shard, which then you can roll again into more memory fragments. So it looks like they're just handing away memory fragments in kind of a neat kind of way there. Then some just graphic type stuff. Roses will be in bloom and a crescent moon will shine over the night skies. A BDO. I think that's just a graphic thing. I don't know if that signifies anything else that happens. Ongoing events that were already, you're returning attendance rewards, new player rewards, just like always. Guild attendance rewards, same, hasn't reset yet. And then the time is gold and brings you treasure. That's the if you're logged in for up to 5 hours, you get a gold key and a gold chest each day that you're logged in after reset. So you'll get you get free stuff there. I keep getting a bunch of sharp black crystal things, which I'm not upset about. I can always use those, stockpiling those, but I keep getting a lot of those. Ancient Guardians, so I think I got, which I'm hanging on to because the price has dropped drastically on those. They get down to like 7 mil or stuff in those things when there's not an event, easily sell for like 12 to 14 mil. So that's something to hang on to a little bit later as that event ends, which will be next week when Lahn comes out. So this is something I really wanted to get into, and actually what made me decide to do this video. I briefly talked about this with a friend of mine that I play with. I'm not happy about this. So in my last video, I mentioned when we were talking about farming with low gear score. In my last video, I mentioned that there was an event because I had some enchanted weapons that dropped. That event was for 2 weeks, I thought, originally, or it was originally for 2 weeks, having enchanted armor and enchanted weapons. If you don't know that, the first area was at Balanos, can drop up to 5, next area over is 10, and then Medea and up is plus 15 gear already enchanted. The plus 15s definitely drop. I was farming Kadri a lot of the time on my Dark Knight a few weeks ago, and got a whole bunch of plus 15s. I actually hung on to them, a lot of them, and then I used some of the like 13s and 14s to build some gear, enhanced some gear really easily thanks to that. Then pretty much anything at 8 or below I just disenchanted for the Blackstones, which there was also a Blackstone event going too. So the increase in Blackstone drop rate plus all these enchanted items, it crashed the market price of Blackstones. Now earlier this morning, very early this morning, I was logged in. The Blackstone armors did seem like they were back at normal price, 210,000, but the Blackstone weapons are also about that same price when they were pretty standard 300,000. Here's my thing with that. So they've decided, thanks to all your feedback, the event, its raining enhancement will become a regular addition to the game. Not happy with that. So that means you, I also was reading, Balanos and Sarandia, plus 5 gear, Calpheon is plus 10, and then Medea, Valencia, and Kamsilva is plus 15 gear. So they're keeping this in the game. This is a new addition to the game. And my problem with that is you kind of are eliminating the actual black stones from the game, if that makes sense. And what I mean by that, if you are getting black stones by farming, and that's how you do it, and by that I mean grinding mobs, so you're killing mobs and earning them that way. You get them, they drop here and there, whatever, you got a good stack up, whatever. Now you're getting all this gear that you're disenchanting too. I mean, I literally got like 1,000 Blackstone armors or whatever just from Iron Mines grinding for like a couple of days. You know, put in maybe like 7-8 hours of grind, maybe a little more of that, but it's just crazy. And then the gear on top of it, this stuff's just dropping, so like it's devaluing, it is bringing the economy down, it's slightly annoying, it's going to hurt overall money per hour for grinders for sure. But on the other side, life skillers, it's definitely going to help them out, because in a lot of cases I'm sure you're having to buy a lot of materials when you're having to do enhancement. If you are mainly life skilling, maybe you do a little of both and have a nice balance and you don't mind these changes either way. But personally, this kind of affects the way I make my money in game just a little bit. It's kind of annoying. And now selling off like excess Blackstone weapon weapon Blackstones are just not, it's not going to be as profitable. It's going to take longer for them to sell out. Little annoying. They're going like 210, 220k or whatever last I looked at it, not logged in at the moment. So I'm not super happy about these changes. Maybe they'll change that over time, or this could just be in preparation for that new launch, the Dragon Patch or whatever I've heard people talking about. Haven't read up on it myself yet with what's going on that, but yeah, so it could just be preparation. Hopefully it is. They got other things in store, but overall the value of Blackstones, I can't see it going back up. If anything, it's just going to come down even more as the market gets flooded with them, although you do have the release of Lahn next week, so that price should be kind of, there's going to be plenty of people buying those. Anyways, let's move on here. This is just talking about the enhancement. You can't be dropped from world bosses at all, just the normal monsters on it. Fixed an issue. Okay, some fixes here. Maneuver, HP now recovery. Yeah, just some fixes there. Viewpoint camera was awkward interacting. Village and ground. Okay. All classes. This was in last week's patch notes, and obviously we didn't make a video about it because this channel didn't happen yet, but this was in last week's patch notes, and is the different effects that they wanted to have implemented this week. Last week we got kind of half a PvP update or half class change update, which was the removal of a whole bunch of super armor and frontal guards and things like that. I know Striker got really neutered from that effect. Dark Knight seemed kind of okay. My reaction to it was kind of more like the way you play, the play style to it kind of changed a lot. Before you could kind of be in and out as far as engaging. You had a lot of super armors with, like, you know, your forward dash, spirit hunt, and Twilight Dash, things like that, so you could engage, disengage kind of freely, and then you still had your range skills. They kind of removed all the up close and dashing protection, and kind of seems like they want that class to really just be ranged interaction, especially in group PvP, because you're not going to be diving into anything and not just getting melted immediately. So things that they talk about here, they had mentioned they were going to fix the knockdown, knockback. I hadn't seen this much, but it had to deal with rubber banding based on your internet connection. So the actual distance that you are now was reduced, which apparently alleviates that the problem where it shows some rubber banding when you get hit on the knockdown. This was, they talked about extensively last week as well. Only the first skill of first hit of a skill will now give CC effects: knockdown, floating, bound, knockback, stiffness, stun, and freeze, and these effects will not be influenced by evasion. So now what they're saying is the way that the game worked before was when you had an attack that was multiple hits 4 times, 5 times, whatever, that effect had 5 chances to proc the CC effects on them. And now that's only going to take effect on the first hit, and it's also no longer influenced by evasion. So your evasion plays no part in the CC effects at all. And that also goes for debuffs as well. It's only going to be your resistance, so your grapple resistance, knockdown resistance, stiffness, whatever kind of resistance you have. That's what's going to affect these CCs now, not your evasion at all. Evasion strictly with damage, and that's how they're kind of wanting to keep it not stacked up 2 things. You're either evading to dodge, or you have resistance to avoid CC effects and debuffs as well. So that's kind of the overall with that. Then here we go. In addition, now when hit by the CC effect and additional attack effect, like down smash for instance, of the same skill, only one effect suitable for that situation will be applied. For example, when using Warrior's ground smash on a standing enemy bound effect will be applied but not down smash. If the enemy is down on the ground, down smash will be applied, not bound, and the word immune will appear on the screen. That seems pretty intuitive. I'm kind of surprised it wasn't like that already, so I don't see much there. Here's where we start getting a few class things that people weren't happy about. I won't jump into it too much because it's listed again further down where the classes breakdown are, but they basically took stamina consumption and added that to the Warrior's Head Chase, Ranger's Wind Step, and then the Kuno and Ninja Ghost Step, so it's now stamina instead of their MP or whatever the equivalent was. And then they increased the stamina consumption for Musa and Meiwa. It was about double, but from what I've seen, the Musas and Meiwas still are just as mobile, you know, a little bit less, but they can totally get where they need to go. They get a lot of distance on that amount of stamina consumption anyhow. This is where I talked about last week's effects. Like I said, a lot of the forward guard, super armor, and invincibles were removed. And they're saying it's become harder for melee classes to get through the attacks of range classes. To mitigate this issue, we've changed the defense effects or CC effects of some range skills and movement main skills. Also, some skills that greatly influence large-scale PvP have been adjusted, and then upcoming changes. So we're still in this process of them balancing. We're still between it, and we'll kind of blow through these last parts because I want to get my thoughts on where we're at overall, but let's get a full synopsis for what's kind of going on. This one, they're talking about the duration of Black Spirit skills are different in each class, and that the balance of them, the damage. So they're going to be making some changes to how the Black Spirit's rage works. They're adding a separate Spirit Absorption skill to it, and you can choose which one of the 2 you want to use because they want to try and give a fair playing field to each of the classes for when they're using their Black Spirits. AP of all summoned beings was increased. That was already planned because of the Renown Score defensive buffs that were thrown in. And on the May 9th patch, the defense effects from certain skills were removed in response to many adventurers felt that this meant that PvP battles would end too fast. Therefore, in order to prolong PvP battles so you have more time to enjoy them, we plan to reduce the PvP damage of all classes by an identical rate. I mean, it makes sense because the way it's set up now, you know, a single knockdown you could get, I mean, if somebody's going to drop 4 rotation on you real fast while you're knocked down, and it's over, so I could see that. So maybe 100% combos, you know, aren't as effective, although some classes really rely on having a 100% combo in the way PvP works right now. We're planning to add, this is what I was saying, the new Black Spirit Rage absorption, and then some internal testing. This is because we decided to make the game significantly hard. We'll continue to test and brainstorm to bring you all a set of combat rules that would be enjoyable for you. I can definitely speak to that effect when I'm speaking of Kadri Ruins farming on my Dark Knight, which I like because it drops the Rosar weapons quite a bit, and then some other nice items for good money there. But that place, definitely when the changes to a lot of the super armors and frontal guards were there, like I said, the playstyle was very different. I had to actually like pay attention. That's definitely an area on my Dark Knight, which is like 209 AP and like, I don't know, 260 or something DP, something like that. I can grind that place mindlessly, endlessly, you know, not be looking. I can be chilling, watching something on TV or whatever while I'm doing it. And I kind of have to pay attention now because if I'm not, I don't have the super armors and guards that I had before to just kind of spam through whatever skills, blow everything up and run through. I have to actually like be engaged, which I guess maybe is a good thing for playing the game and enjoying it, but for me, I'm trying to make me some in-game money and I'm just trying to grind through, so that was slightly annoying. It wasn't huge impact, but there was noticeably different, even just in the PvE grinding. And a lot of the changes I think they made last week, they didn't really keep PvE in mind pretty much at all. With that, it was all about the PvP aspect, which great, you know, I'm all about PvPing, but at the same time there needs to be some balance. Making PvE less efficient to make money is not fun. Okay, so into the class effects. The distance a character moves when hit by, we talked about, that's, it already said that, became smoother. Fixed the issue where damage was not applied properly for a specific period of time after, okay, so a couple specific fixes there. So your warrior forward guard effect for the skill Frenzy Spear is removed, so another frontal guard that's removed for that class. Fixed the issue where warrior took on a kick motion, even when, okay, some graphical stuff. Resource consumption has been changed for skill head chase. So yeah, this is what they were saying. It's now consuming stamina instead of their MP skill, which means they can't regenerate it quite as quickly. That definitely hurts their mobility a lot. And for whatever reason, they took away another frontal guard. Not really sure how the warrior was doing previously. Ranger, on the other hand, has a long list of things, and these guys took a pretty heavy hit. Forward guard for the effects, extreme charging wind, ultimate charging wind, and absolute have been removed. Fix the issue where evasive shot would not be activated upon using the skill Razor. Yeah, that was kind of not a big deal, but damage reduction effect in PvE and PvP has been applied during cooldown of the skills Will of Wind, activated with ultimate evasive shot. And damage reduction effect in PvE only has been applied during cooldown of the skill Absolute Will of the Wind, activated with ultimate evasive shot. Super armor effect for the skill Roaring Arrow has been removed. Not cool. That's a Robum skill that that Rangers definitely use. Invincible effect has been changed to super armor effect for Call from Sky. That makes sense. They said they were going to do that. They wanted to remove a lot of the iframe skills and change them into super armor. Sork's got one of those done as well, so that wasn't super surprising. Fixed an issue that would glitch out some of there. Super armor effect for all levels of the skill Blasting Gust has been removed. Another super armor takeaway. Damage reduction effect has been added to the cooldown. Absolute Blasting Gust. Description of the skill ultimates has been edited. Resource consumption has been changed to stamina for the skill Wind Step. 100 stamina consumed. Stamina consumption for the skill Evasive Shot has been changed. So it's not great for Rangers farming wise. You can't really do your evasive shot with the animation cancel as efficiently to get your mana back with it, because they've increased the stamina usage, so you don't get to spam it like you used to. And then changing the wind step to stamina being consumed. I mean, we'll have to see. I don't main Ranger. I do use one just for farming purposes. Personally, I played it. I farmed for an hour today on the Ranger. It didn't really matter in that instance. I was actually able to zip around a little bit faster for the areas that I was in than normal. But we'll have to see. The removal of these super armors in PvP, not good. Not good. I mean, Ranger was doing really well after the last few edits, but taking away what little they had for it, I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out. Sorceress stamina is no longer going to recover with Nightmare. Stiffness is now going to be applied for Dream of Doom, and it's used instantly upon learning the skill Imminent Doom. Knockdown effect will now only be applied in PvE for Abyssal Blow. Invincible effect has been changed to super armor effect for Storming Crow, which, like I said, was expected. Stamina will no longer be recovered during the skill Darkness released. Berserker, the following has changed for the skill Shake Off. Invincible effect has changed to super armor. Again, we expected that. Moving distance has increased when skill level goes up in Iron Buster mode. Knockdown effect will only be applied in PvE now for shooting mobility. Interesting. Ground lifting will not activate the same speed, not depending on the moving distance after using Lava Piercer, and fixed a graphical glitch with them upon equipping. Okay, so some graphical glitch. So they lost a knockdown for whatever, and then the invincible to super armor. Again, every class we're going to see that for any iframes that they had planned on. Rain Curtain will now be auto-activated when attacked while moving backwards in Celestial Bowstaff mount. That's all with Tamer, so that sounds like a good thing. Okay, Valkyrie got hit pretty hard here as well. Attack damage in PvP against other classes is decreased by 6.6%. So just a flat, less damage. And then they talk about Valkyrie and Warrior, the only classes utilizing the shield, and with the advantage of Will Shield, they're immune to all CC effects from all directions when they're on guard. Besides this advantage, Valkyrie has had an even greater increase in DP when on forward guard, which makes her sturdier than the Warrior. Hence, her AP had to be adjusted by lowering damage in PvP in order to balance the class out. I totally get that. Valkyries were kind of dominating previously to this. They have huge defense and still had an amazing offense to go with it, so I kind of get that overall just dropping their damage kind of makes sense, at least in PvP. Stamina no longer be recovered during the skill motion of the skill promptness. This was a huge problem for Valks because you're not mobile anymore. Stamina consumption's increased to 200. You can get like a dash of a little bit and you're out of juice. So it'll be interesting to see how people develop moving with that. I imagine we'll see some upset rerolls, which are probably uncalled for. Super Armor was removed, Celestial Spear and Celestial Smite. Celestial Cry increased from 40 seconds to 60 second cooldown. Ilion's Blessing from 150 to 240. And Stamina will be consumed instead of SP for the skill Deathline Chase. Oh, it's talking about their dash. I mean, they're just not mobile. It's just not a mobile class, period. Which PvP damage was decreased by 11% for Blizzard. Super Armor effect for Sage's Light removed. Cooldown has been increased for Protected Area. You can see the charts there. Fixed some graphics issue. No longer invincible. Okay. Yeah, Blizzard will be distributed depending on the number of targets that are hit if inflicted to more than 2 targets for the following skill. So it's going to divide the damage like an AoE skill would in a classic MMO. That sound. Cooldown of the skill, Spellbound Hearts decreased. Detonated flow inflicting a heart target decreased by 5%. Okay, so they didn't really get a nerf here, and then it was the exact same for Wizards. It's changed the same skills, same cooldown increase on PA, same graphical issue, same Blizzard thing, same exact setup. They didn't 600 seconds to 60 seconds. Was this? Yeah, okay. I think I read it backwards. But yeah, they didn't really get a nerf per se. So those classes are going to be just as dominating as they were. I don't really see much going down from them. Stamina consumed for Musos increased for their skill chase. The text nullified during cooldown. Okay, so a little bug fix there. And same with Meiwa. And then Invincible effect's been changed to Forward Guard for Blooming Stride and Blooming Step. And Invincible effect has been changed to Super Armor for the skill Sleet Steps. Again, that was totally expected. So these two didn't really change much over last week. Ghost Step is now Stamina on both these guys, and I believe they have both the same. They do both the same changes. Floating effect can be applied when performing the skill ninjutsu block jump in a combo using left directional key, whereas before it was troublesome as both stiffness and floating can be applied. Fix some issues with some stuff. Okay. Dark Knight. This is my class, obviously. Here we go. So bound effect of the skill Shadow Strike will only be applied in PvE now. Shadow Strike is like the Robum skill that nobody uses, so I don't think anyone really cares about that. Stiffness on good one hit effect has been removed from the skill Unveiled Fate. Unveiled Fate. I think that's the dagger skill. I don't really know that matters because you're not really using. That's the like sword slash thing when you press F. I think in Unawakened form. I might be wrong, but I think that's what it is. Floating was changed to stiffness effect for Seed of Catastrophe. Okay. I mean, that's not the end of the world. And fixed discrepancy in the actual damage inflicted with Darkness Burst 4. Said hit damage times 1, F545 is times 2. Striker, I think they brought Striker some juice because they were really lacking in general. They have to engage really up close, and they kind of got that taken away from them a bit last week. So here we have Forward Guard effect's been added to Ferocious Assault. Super Armor effect has been added to skill Double Flash. Bound effect of Ferocious Assault will take effect only in PvE now. Fixed an issue, successful grapple, blah blah blah. So we'll stand right back up. Super Armor. Okay, so they took Super Armor and Forward Guard away from these two and added them to Ferocious Assault and Double Flash, which I believe are their are better for them. It's more used to have on those two skills, so I don't think they really took much of a hit here. They kind of traded out what they lost as far as guards, unlike Ranger that just got everything taken away. Invincible effect has been changed to Super Armor. Again, we see that across the board everywhere. Super Armor's been removed from. They lost 2 here, gained 1 for Mystic, and Super Armor effect skills are Superior Shards. Again, changed Invincible to Super Armor, and Frontal Guard's been removed from Elbow Edge. I don't know how important these skills are, but it looks like overall they did lose 3, gained 1. We'll see how that plays out. I think Mystic's still fairly strong, regardless of what they do to it at this point. And okay, so then item changes they've got. This I'm kind of annoyed about. So I dumped I don't know how many fairy wings when I was trying to get just a tier 3, and I still don't. I'm up to like 60 something fairies I've done. And I still don't have it even a tier 3, just tier 2s and tier 1s. So now you can actually trade them in for something. Before you could just throw them in the trash can, toss them aside, get them out of your face and out of the inventory. And now they get some sweet honey wines, so you can kind of roll back and try to use those for more fairies later. And item description for crystal items have changed. Level increase are now labeled with statistic increase. That just makes sense. It's more intuitive that way. And maid registration has been changed. Before, the maid could be placed only inside a residence, but now you can simply register the maid with by right-clicking. That's actually how it's written. With by right-clicking the maid contract. With by right-clicking the maid contract. In addition, the number of maids can now be controlled through settings, general settings, show hide maid. Maid contracts purchased before the update can also be registered with a right click. So that's pretty cool. You can just register your maids on the spot. Don't have to have a residence at all. It's which was kind of waste, but whatever. Special talent: each pet will now be displayed on their item descriptions. That's definitely a quality of life. You used to have to call them out and actually see it before, so that makes sense. For details on newly added Pearl Shot update, click here. We'll check that out in a little bit. I'll open up the link to that, and we'll take a look at that in just a little. Monster changes: DP in Akhman Temple decreased by 3%. Monsters appearing in Savage Rift will now appear with improved evasion. Sombro that spawns at Mansion's Narkstone Awake Silent will not apply knockdown to a character that approaches it during its constant jumping motion. Okay. Some changes to Nark Brishka, which summons from a Mansion Narkstone. His HP decrease, some jumping pattern attacks, yada yada yada. Some attacks following monsters inflict a debuff, and Medea the Helm Golem. No more debuff from Gatekeeper dudes. There's giant dudes at Naga that blow you up. The Watcher, and all that good stuff. Some of these in Kamisilva, Griffin, yeah, and King Griffin. Quest and knowledge: movement of Goblin Worker, Escapee. And the quest one has been made more natural now. I don't even know what that is. Navigation to completion. Target NPC will be activated properly during cart transfer to the quest and Merchants Guild resources. Great. Interface changes using Recharge Alchemy Stone. The amount needed to recharge can now be previewed upon registering the materials. Another quality of life. When climbing a wooden fence, only the wooden fence's durability will appear now. I don't know anything about climbing wooden fences, dude. I can tell you that much. It's been fixed that only the HP of a wooden fence would show up right above. Okay, we're talking about farming or something. I don't know. I don't care any of that. Resolve some graphical issues from there. So there you have it. That's what we're given on the patch notes for it. We'll take a look at the Pearl Shop in a minute here, but my thoughts on it overall, I think they just really want to change where PvP is going, how the game, the PvP aspect of it works. It looks to me right now, and this is an early claim, but it looks like they really want to push things, and they're focused more on balanced group and small scale PvP, and even to large scale. Not so much the 1v1. I don't think that it looks much like they care about the 1v1 too much, because I feel like with these changes you're going to have some very overbearing classes, Witch and Wizard, that are just going to completely dominate in a lot of scenarios. They weren't great with 1v1 to start with, and we'll see. And I could be wrong, but there's an overall plan they have, hopefully, that we're leaning towards. It would be nice if there was a test server or something that actually tested these things on, instead of internal testing that they claim every once in a while for it. But we'll have to see. It's kind of a wait and see thing. I know a ton of people are just reroll. I saw today so many Tet Zarka weapons for DK, and I saw like 4 Tet Dandelions go up from people just crying, re-rolling, whatever. I think it's a little premature. I'm not really gonna like just ditch my class. I don't think I would sell my army even then. If I fall in love with playing Lahn, I would still keep my weapons. I just have to try Zarka, Dandy, and Kudum on my Dark Knight. But yeah, I'd be keeping them. I wouldn't even sell them. I would just get new stuff with Lahn. I can farm money easy enough to at least get the equivalent to that, you know, on there and channel myself. I wouldn't, because you could always jump back and you don't want to end up regretting it. I don't know. I think it's a little premature to do that, but hey, if you think another class is going to be more fun for you, go ahead and do it. They're not done balancing yet, so who knows how everything's going to end out or when it's going to end out. So in the Pearl Shop this week, we got Panda Pack. You get 2 of them, so I assume they're going to be tier 1s in a lazy Panda House. I don't know what Panda House does. They look goofy, but this is obviously to coincide with Lahn. Kind of fits their theme for whatever that is. Fairy Maids, 2+1 mix and match. Choose 3 out of 6 maids. You can choose more than one of the same type of maid. That's pretty cool. You're basically getting, yeah, a free maid for the most part, because they're usually like 1,200 pearls. So that's pretty cool. A weight limit event. I haven't checked if this stacks with a previous one. Once per family. I didn't know that. Once per family. I have to check because I have this one on my Dark Knight already. And it goes... I'd like to put it on the Lahn, I think, if I like Lahn, if I can. But I wonder if it can be used on the Dark Knight again, because they did a 250 event limited run before. Character slot expansion coupon. I already bought one of these for my Lahn. I had my slots already maxed out, 8 of them or whatever, just for the like free energy and stuff off tune. So I did buy one of these. It's dropped from like $6 to $1.80, whatever, 180 pearls, however you want to look at it. So that's pretty good decrease. Some people were complaining because we've gotten free slots in the past when they release a new character, but I mean, it's 180 pearls, man. Just run with it. It's not that big a deal. And then you can buy just a panda individually or the panda house individually. So there's that, and that's it. Cool. So that's gonna be it for this video. Like I said, I'll at least cover the patch notes weekly. If you guys have some comments or feedback or disagree with some things I said, drop something in the comments, and then we can address them next week. or maybe sooner than that if we do a response video for that. If you're liking the content, you want to come back and see us, hit a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to check out some more videos going to be coming out. Like I said, trying to do maybe 3 to 4 videos a week, still finding maybe a sweet spot for where we're going to do that. But that's going to be it for today. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you later.